Today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live guided meditation today. My name is Stephanie Wagner, and I'm a trainer and program specialist, a meditation teacher with Healthy Minds Innovations. And thank you so much for joining this live guided practice today. As we're getting started here, regardless of whether you're watching this on Facebook Live or YouTube, in the chat box, I'd love for you to just share with me where you live, as well as maybe what inspired you to join this practice today. There's a little bit of a delay, probably about 30 seconds, but I will be able to see your comments from both platforms as they pop up. So as we're getting ready to get started here, just a little bit of context setting for those of you that may not know who we are at Healthy Minds Innovations. We're a nonprofit that is affiliated with the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, a research institution. And what we do at Healthy Minds Innovations is we basically translate the scientific insights coming out of the Center for Healthy Minds into tools to help people both cultivate as well as measure well-being. We have a unique model of well-being that is rooted in a set of skills that are both trainable as well as there's science that links them back to being beneficial for well-being. And so these 4 dimensions of well-being are awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. We've been gathering together each Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time to basically train our minds and skills associated with resilience and well-being. And here in the United States, we, of course, are coming upon a very important election. And know that there is a lot of feelings around the election, including anxiety or whatever other feelings you might be experiencing. It might be anxiety, might be anger, irritation. So whatever is happening here, this practice that I'm going to lead you in today will help you sort of work with these challenging emotions as it relates directly to the election. So I realize here that we have a global audience. So please, bring to mind something that creates relevance for you in this practice. So it may not be that the US election is of concern to you, but certainly there may be things in your own political climate in your country that you could be working with inside this practice. So let's just talk directly for a moment about anxiety and sort of the quality that anxiety has in terms of hijacking us. Okay, so the first thing that anxiety does is it hijacks our nervous system and it sends us into this state of fight, flight, or freeze. So any of us that have experienced this heightened state of anxiety, as many of us are now, feels very uncomfortable in the body. And oftentimes in these moments of feeling really anxious, we're seeking physical ease. We want to calm our bodies down. Now, the second aspect of anxiety is that it gets us caught up in this thought loop that causes us to sort of get hijacked in this state of rumination where we've got this constant stream of thoughts, we're really wrapped up in it, it causes the stress response in our body. And a lot of the anxiety is actually rooted in what I would call future tripping. So we sort of are concerned about an outcome that hasn't happened yet, and this causes us to trip our minds into the future, projecting all kinds of outcomes that are not actually happening right now in the present moment. So what we're going to do during our practice today is we're going to work with these sort of election related feelings 3 different ways. So we're going to work with the sensations in the body because those can be very uncomfortable. And so we're going to work with that. Then we're going to work with watching the thoughts. And then we're going to work with compassion, basically having compassion for the discomfort and the fear that we're having around the election. Because of course, we're anxious. We care. We care about ourselves, our children. We care about the whole of humanity. We care about the planet. So all of these feelings are arising from a place of care and kindness and compassion and really wanting the best for all human beings in the United States and beyond. So we'll be working with this a couple of different ways. So I think we'll practice for about 20 minutes and then we'll do a recap at the end. I may invite you at the end to maybe share a little bit about your practice. And I'll just say here too, when dealing with difficult emotions like anxiety, if you're feeling like in the moment, in the practice, it's too overwhelming for you, please just step out of the practice, pay attention to something else. You might want to take a break. So listen to your body. When we're working with challenging emotions, this is something that we need to pay attention to, and don't just plow through the practice because you think you should. So there's always moments where you can simply rest the mind, or you can pay attention to something else in your experience. So I'm just going to take a look at the comments here. All right, so it looks like we've got a welcome to the YouTube commenters, and unfortunately I'm not able to see the comments right now. So all right, well, I think we'll just go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get ourselves into a comfortable practice posture, one in which we're a bit relaxed if that's possible, and we're alert. You can close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. And you can take a couple of slow, deep breaths. Let go of any of the busyness that's propelled you to this point in your day and settle in to the practice. And reflect for a moment on your motivation for coming to practice today, whatever that may be, and see if you can connect with that for a moment. And so, the first part of our practice, we're going to begin working with the sensations in the body. So, oftentimes with anxiety or other challenging emotions, there's a very strong sense of discomfort. So, let's take a moment to connect with the breath. Again, if this feels good for you, and bring awareness to the breath. And see as you're following the breath, if you can begin to extend the out breath. So each out breath, begin to extend the exhale until you're breathing about twice as long on the out breath as you are on the in breath. And as you're doing this, if it helps to bring to mind a relaxing spot where you feel the most comfortable, you can bring that image to your mind as you're continuing to work with extending the out breath. So, expanding the out breath can oftentimes engage the parasympathetic nervous system, helping us to tap into that relaxation response. So, let's continue to just be aware of the breath naturally and notice those moments when you become disconnected from the breath. And when you're disconnected, bring awareness back to the breath. And if for some reason following the breath is creating more anxiety, see if you can bring awareness to something else in your environment, maybe sound. Okay, let's give our minds a moment to rest. You can notice how you're feeling. You may feel less anxious or not, but simply notice how you're feeling right now in this moment. And so now we're going to do something sort of counterintuitive, and we're going to bring to mind the election and maybe some aspect of the election that you're anxious about, might be political candidate, perhaps there's a political issue that's of utmost concern to you. So bring to mind whatever aspect of the upcoming election or the political climate in your country that's causing you to have a challenging emotion like anger or anxiety, and sort of bring that to mind. And so, as you're bringing it to mind, see if you can begin to notice the cascade of thoughts associated with this reflection, noticing judgments, future tripping, whatever else is happening in your mind, and see if you can simply watch these thoughts, these anxious thoughts related to the election. And so there might be moments where there's no thought, and that's okay. There might be moments where you get caught up in the thought and you're no longer aware. So that's okay too. If you get caught up, see if you can bring awareness to the thoughts as they're happening. Reconnect with watching these anxious thoughts. And as you're watching the thoughts, you may notice that there's a strong kind of story. You might notice images in your mind. See if you can almost watch what's happening, like you're watching a movie in your mind, but this time the movie is about the election. You can also notice if there's sensations that are being kicked up in the body as a result of doing this. You may just want to then bring awareness to the sensations, step away from watching thoughts. So, whatever feels the most resonant in this practice to you. But the idea here is that we're watching what's happening in our experience rather than getting wrapped up in it. All right, let's step out of the practice for a moment and allow the mind to rest. And you could just have a sense of being present right here in this moment. Might notice how you feel after doing that reflection. So here we're changing our relationship to these anxious thoughts or these strong feelings. So rather than becoming identified with them, believing them to be true, we're gaining some perspective and some space and simply watching the thoughts as they go through our mind. And so now, once again, reflecting on some aspect of the election that is causing you these strong feelings, this anxiety, and once again, bringing that to mind. Notice how badly you want things to be different, to have a certain outcome. And this desire for this outcome is coming from a place of your innate compassion, wanting for yourself to be free from suffering, free from pain, wanting our communities to be free from suffering, to have peace and ease, and wanting the best for the planet as well. So, see if you can connect to the fact that this anxiety is rooted in a deep desire for things to be better, to be different, and connect with that. This anxiety is actually rooted in something wholesome. And see if you can remain connected to this compassion first for yourself for a moment, either through perhaps a felt sense of compassion in the body or reciting those phrases, may I be free from anxiety, election anxiety, whatever phrase resonates with you. Repeating this for a few moments in your mind. Connecting with this motivation that you have for things to be better and different. And so then begin to widen the circle of compassion to maybe your local community. Reflect on a topic or an issue that's at top of your mind that's really important to you and that you're concerned about. Social justice, the environment, and begin to bring your community into your practice by choosing a phrase that represents something that's important to you. So it might be something like, may we have peace, may we have justice. And see if you can work with that for a moment in your mind by repeating the phrase silently. Notice those moments where you may get caught up, no longer connected to the kindness and compassion, and bring your awareness and attention back to connecting with this compassion through the phrases of the body, but expanding out to your community. And let's begin to widen the circle of kindness and compassion to our country as a whole. Again, choosing a phrase that feels top of mind for you. May we have peace. May we have justice. May we be free from suffering. So, whatever works for you, but including yourself in this circle of compassion and kindness. And then you can simply let go of the phrases. Notice how you feel. Allow the mind to rest for a moment. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and Yeah, great. Thank you so much. We're having an issue with the comments, so I can't see your comments, but just want to recap here what we've done in terms of working with election-based anxiety. So, the first thing that we know is that our sympathetic nervous system can get all activated. And so, we can bring some ease. We can attempt to bring some ease to the body through using the breath, if that works for you, lengthening the out breath to try and engage that relaxation response in the body. Then we can actually watch our thoughts. So, when you think about the common experience of when we have a very strong emotion like anxiety, we get really caught up. We believe the anxiety to be true. We future trip. So, simply see if you can gain some perspective and watch the thoughts. Watch the story going on in your mind and just see it as being a story, something that's you're projecting in the future. You're kind of caught up in this loop. And then you can also recognize that it's coming from this place of genuine care and compassion. You want things to be better. You deeply care. You want things to be different. And so you can connect with this innate kindness and compassion through, again, a more of an embodied sense if you're a body based person, or you can even use these phrases that may be specific to something that you're very concerned about related to the election. So my wish for you is that this helps you to gain some perspective. Unfortunately, we can't always have like this immediate change in the outcome that we want, but what we can do is we can work to change our relationship with what's going on in our experience. And so that's the invitation here, is to focus on what you can be with, what you can influence, which is your own mind and your own relationship with your thoughts. And to use that motivation that you have for things to be better. And if you've got energy and resources to do it, to actually do something with that energy. So it may be, volunteering, making a donation. So showing up in whatever ways feel resonant for you, but we can really harness this capacity for compassion as well in a more embodied, lived way. So, with that said, thank you so much. And I really look forward to connecting with you again soon. If you found this meditation to be helpful, would really love for you to share this with others. I know that with the vice presidential debates last night, that there's a lot going on in the US. And so share this on your social media channels. You can take Healthy Minds Innovations, really get the word out there that this is a free resource that's available to deal with these sort of mental health issues that are happening right now. So, related to the election. Thank you so much, and look forward to connecting with you again soon.